this one right here. I do not want to hear nothing about no 61-point triple-double, right? I don't want to hear it. Joker fans, I don't want to hear nothing about a 61-point triple-double that it took 2 overtimes to get the triple-double, right? Let me say this, folks. His MVP hopes continue to be shattered. There's no way that they should not win in there. Well, Minnesota came into Denver. There's no way that Minnesota should have came into Denver and this should have even been a close game. I don't care. Denver is a top 2-3 team. I don't care. Let's stop it, folks. Let's stop it. I'm sick of it. They're blowing out good teams without Joker. They don't need Joker and they're looking good. All these close games like this, no. They don't have Karl Anthony Towns like last year. This is not the same team. And this is not just some regular season game, right? This is the end of the season. Teams are jockeying for position for the 2, 3, 4 spot. And to me, the Timberwolves ain't up there. They're not one of those 2, 3, 4 teams. They're not. Anthony Edwards ain't going to do ish but shoot a whole bunch of 3-point shots. I don't want to hear nothing about no Russell Westbrook mess this game up. It shouldn't even came to this. It ain't no reason why the Timberwolves are taking the Joker and the Denver Nuggets, who are what, in second place or something like that? We're in second place when the last night came? No way. This should be a statement game. You have no business being on the same floor with us. None. And this is what got me, folks. This is really what got me. The fact that I'm looking down at the box score and for Joker to get a triple-double, it took him 2 overtimes, which I'm not hating. It is what it is with that. But you're going to hear his whatever you want to call it. I don't want to call him no more names. I guess Joker fans, they're going to say 61-point triple-double. And they had a chance to win, but Russell Westbrook had to miss these free throws and turn the ball over. Why do you got him in the game? Why do you have him in the game? For somebody to blame, I guess, right? It's ridiculous. Why do you even have him on the team if you know he's going to do all this stupid stuff in the clutch or all game? I don't get it. The point is, the Timberwolves have no business taking you to 2 overtimes. They don't. It's supposed to be a statement game. You're not on our level. We're coming down the stretch. We're showing the NBA that these type of teams aren't on our level. And when we get into the playoffs, they're not going to beat us. So to me, you expect me to put Denver or pick Denver to beat Minnesota in the playoffs? Here's the big elephant in the room, folks. Again, I was going through the box score, and I looked down, and I said, what kind of defense was Joker playing? How many steals? How many blocks? 0 blocks in 2 damn overtimes. The game with the 2 overtimes, and this guy had 0 blocks. I don't care about no steals. Oh, man, Joker had 2 steals, man. Nope. I don't care. These steals today, you know what they are? Fumbling and bumbling. Guys just fumbling the ball. You ain't playing no defense out here when you get these steals. No, it's guys fumbling the ball. Obviously, because what do? They dribble the ball high, they carry, they do all this stuff. They don't have any handles in this era, folks. Remember those Kyrie handles? Carry. Ooh. Yep. So I think Joker had 2 steals and 0 blocks. Tell me if I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. I checked this 2 times, and maybe my eyes are deceiving me. Tell me they are. But I seen this guy had 0, the number 0. Blocks. In the game with the 2 overtimes, folks. How is that possible for a center to go to 2 overtimes and have 0 blocks? Also, They want me to put this guy in the MVP race. Check this out. This guy is averaging 0.7 blocks. 0.7 blocks for the season. What? So actually, this guy went down on blocks. This guy actually went down on blocks for the season. He was, I think he was, early in the season, he was at 0.7 blocks for the season. He done went down. No, my fault. He was on 0.9 blocks for the season. He was on 0.9, and we were still criticizing that. He's down to 0.7 blocks. For his career, he's at 0.7 blocks also. And for his career, he averages 21 points, which is, I thought he averaged more points than that for his career. But that tells me he really wasn't a force all of his career. Like, to me, I really didn't. From what I seen, Joker came in at 14. And nobody even heard of this guy until, like, what, the 2020 bubble or something like that? I'm serious. I never heard of no great top 75 player not being known until, like, their 5th season. That's crazy. Who is it? What top center? I never heard of him. Will, Shaq, Kareem, Hakeem. Even dudes ain't even top 5 center. We heard Alonzo Mourning his first year. I mean, really? We heard of Dikembe Mutombo his first year. What are we talking about? Did this guy really get so-called good or great as the league got weaker? Did you hear anything about Joker in the 2010s when LeBron was winning all these championships? When what's his name? When Curry was going to all these championships, did you hear anything about Joker? When the Houston Rockets were doing their thing with James Harden? What are you talking about any of these guys? I never heard of this guy in the 2010s. I'm sorry. Not trying to say he ain't an all-time great, but I'm just saying I never heard of an all-time great never being talked about until the 2020 bubble, really. Anyways, that's all I'm gonna say, man. I'm just exhausted at this point with this Joker guy. That, you know, he can't rally the troops to a win. To me, this is a statement win. It's a statement win saying you're not on our level. You're not. I'm gonna go out here, like I said, guys. A lot of this stuff is irrelevant to me. We should be past all this stat stuff, but we're not. We should be past it. Stats will come with winning. We should be past this, but we're still talking about this. Stats. To me, if this guy, I keep trying to tell you, if he went out here and got me, I'm just saying on average, if he went out here and got me 32 points and grabbed me a monster 15 rebounds, because it's not hard. Not in this era. Grab me 15 rebounds. All you have to do is get me what? 2-3 offensive rebounds to get me about 12. 12 defensive rebounds. You have 15. Give me 15 rebounds, 32 points, and give me 2 blocks. Easy. This should be easy to get 2 blocks. 2 blocks. And get me 5 assists. I don't care about the assists because I know you're not really running a point guard position. You're really not. It's fake. It's fake. All these. He wants to pull a LeBron James. I want the ball at all times, so I can make the assist. Michael Jordan could have did that. He didn't want to do that. He wanted to score. He wanted to rebound. He wanted to play defense. You're taking away. This guy's taking away from what he's really supposed to be doing, right? Because if he's out there facilitating when the ball is back, okay, if he's this great facilitator, have him bring the damn ball up too. Have him run the real offense. Not when the real point guard brings it up and now he wants the ball hog. That's not a real facilitator right there, folks. Let's stop. Let's stop. At least Will Chamberlain, when he was leading the league in assists, it was kind of different. It was kind of different. And he led the league, in rebounds too? And probably blocks at the same time. I mean, so I don't think he led the league in scoring at that time. I'm not sure. I don't think so. But I can't do it, man. I can't listen to this guy's 61-point triple-double and then blame Russ. Because they had no reason even being in this game. You gotta make a statement. Now, I'm not trying to be hard on the Joker fans, but these games gotta be statement games. Um, it's like I said, it's going to be interesting to see what happens the rest of the season. To me, this OKC back-to-back game with the Lakers and OKC, I think it's next Tuesday and next Wednesday, but I don't see the Lakers playing their starters. I think the Lakers play maybe 1 or 2 games after that, but I don't see the Lakers playing Luka and LeBron James. So don't get excited for that matchup. Don't. And they're gonna have every reason. Well, they're gonna put forth every reason not to play them. Oh, we got to rest for the playoffs. We can't move into it. You know what I'm saying? That's the sad thing is they might be able to move in a different position and get a higher seed, and they'll still sit them. They don't care. They don't want to get embarrassed by OKC. They don't want to get embarrassed. They don't want that work. So we'll see what happens today. We got these tariffs, right, that supposedly are supposed to be dropping on like every damn country. There's a lot of stuff going on, folks, and let's get straight to the point about this. We won't talk about it much. I don't really have much time, but the fact is, when we look at the climate of the United States, it's a place that makes nothing, basically, like we did in the past. Americans don't manufacture nothing for the most part, and even in our own country, where we do have manufacturing and we have, blue collar work, like, road work, construction, we don't do those jobs, folks. Americans don't do those jobs. Okay? And the policies of Joe Biden letting in those tens of millions of immigrants that came across the border in 4 years scot-free, and some of them were able to claim asylum, is basically like turning those people into American citizens, right? Without having to do it right. So these people in the coming years, if not already, will be able to waltz into neighborhoods and continue to gentrify communities, especially the black communities. This is what this is all about in the long run. So even the stuff that we do manufacture here, in the blue collar jobs that we do have here, is basically full of illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants, and a lot of these immigrants that came over here through the border and was able, illegally through the border, thanks to Joe Biden, and were able to claim asylum, right? Everybody lives in a dictatorship. And the thing is, folks, you guys got to realize how this thing works. They got to keep replacing people, right? Not just because a lot of people don't woke up to the fake history of the United States, or the past history, but also they got to keep bringing in new slaves, because the old slaves, who are the illegal immigrants or came here through some asylum program or whatever program, they're not going to continue to make the trash money that they came here and had to make, right? That's the whole thing is. When you mess with a world government, that's all it is, folks. It's a world government. If you look throughout history and you look at the wars, you look at the treaties, you look at what happened and who owns what corporation, because that's what a country really is. It's a corporation, right? And the citizens are incorporated with the corporation, right? Say I'm a United States citizen. Say somebody go to the I don't know, Mexico, they're a Mexican citizen. They go to Venezuela, they're a Venezuelan citizen. Jamaica, they're a Jamaican citizen. But guess what? They're American. Well, if we talk about the Americas, they're really American because they're in America. A citizen is somebody who is doing business with a corporation, folks. Time to wake up. Time to wake up. So these presidents are nothing but what they are. They're corporate presidents who are doing business, right? They're doing business. And when you see these guys get in office, we done told you about it. See, because when you're watching the news, they're expecting you to know this. They're expecting you vote, you're a citizen. They expect you to know their lingo and what they're talking about. If you don't know what they're talking about, you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be mad. You're going to think you really voted. You're going to think your vote really counts. But you don't understand, these guys are doing business. And what kind of business is the president doing? Well, he's the president of the United States corporation. That's it. It went from the king rule, right? The king ruled, to the king putting a president in, right? Long story short, that's what the Indians and the Europeans agreed upon, right? They agreed upon basically that the Europeans can do business on their land, right? That's it. And the Indians would profit off of it, and the Europeans would too. So they all went in on it. Europeans didn't come over here and take over this land. And I mean, yeah, in a way they did, but they did a business deal with the Indians. Okay, that's why all these Indians were in all these, the Civil War, the War of Independence. The Indians were fighting on basically the 5 civilized tribes when we say Indians. The 5 civilized tribes was fighting on the side of the Europeans, whether it was the French, the British, the Spanish, whatever you want to say. So they got to cut in it too of what was going to happen for the future, right? And the 5 civilized tribes, they were in all these Indian wars to kill off all these Indian tribes who didn't want to, comply to what the Europeans and then wanted. So if you wasn't down with what they wanted, what the 5 civilized tribes wanted, and what the Europeans wanted to do in the future, you was done. You was gonna get killed, or they made you sign a fake treaty, and whatever. So what I'm trying to say is, when these guys get in office as presidents, they got certain agendas, right? So let's say Biden, right? When Biden got into the office, he got a certain agenda. And why? Because when he ran for his campaign, and it's just not Biden, it's all the Democrats. All the Democrats are going to benefit from it, right? Because they all have the same agenda. And what's the agenda? The agenda is these big corporations coming in called lobbyists, and they give the lobbyists the money to have laws passed, right? So if they can get their president in there, which is, if you're a Democrat, if you're a governor, senator, whatever, and these lobbyists done gave you all this money for when your candidate gets in office, they want these laws passed in their favor. They didn't just give these lawmakers who are politicians all this money for nothing. So when Biden went in office, we just ain't restricting it to Biden, it's all of them. So when Biden got in office, guess what? He started doing what the big companies wanted, the big corporations. And what did they want? They wanted more slaves, right? Because their old slaves will start to demand more money, or they start to move on to something bigger and better. They got to bring in more slaves. And that's what Biden basically did. Let all these people through the border, right? And he did a bunch for the medical industry, right? During the pandemic, handing out all these millions and stuff like that to these companies and corporations. And he did other things. Well, again, why did he do these things? Because the companies and corporations gave to these guys campaigns when they ran. So when you see these things, it's just not a president going rogue. So now, for instance, now you got Donald Trump. What is he doing? Well, now he's talking. Remember, his whole thing was immigration and putting down the debt. So he came in office, and was he able to take out those tens of millions of immigrants, illegal immigrants, that Biden let in? Well, of course not. Well, of course not. They're still here. And guess what? He's not going after them. You know what he did? He went after illegal immigrant criminals. What? Where they at? I never seen them. Have they ever affected you? I never seen them. I'm not going to try to say that they were never here. But those aren't the people who's hurting the economy as far as driving wages down. People working for less and working illegally drive down wages. They drive down wages. And so he did his little round. He claimed he secured the border. I can guarantee you, when 4 years pass, they'll say all these people were still running through the border, folks. You don't know nothing. It's what they're telling you on TV. So all those illegal immigrants that Biden let in, they're still going to be here. So they're continuing to take over jobs, neighborhoods, keeping wages low, everything, folks. There are people that fight in any wars. They didn't contribute to the economy in the past. There are people did nothing. They just get the escape scot-free. So now, after that, he's talking about these tariffs. So now you got to think who was giving money to these guys, to the Donald Trump when he ran, through these lobbyists that came and gave to these Republican politicians. Who was it? What we got to know is somebody to where he's going with these tariffs. And it was the big companies and corporations. Because let me tell you something, they're not going to be hurt, folks. As much as we're talking about these companies, they're going to be hurt. They're going to be good. Because if Donald Trump put these tariffs, guess what? They're going to put tariffs. So everything is just going up. So they're not losing money. They're actually making more money because you're going to pay more. That's what it is, folks. So why is he doing this? Because that's how he was funded by these companies and corporations to do so. Why is he rolling with Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk? Money. That's who gave the Republicans money when they ran. Who makes the policies? Who makes the laws? The companies and corporations. They don't. Y'all better start understanding this stuff, man. You better start understanding what lobbyists, who they are. Start understanding you can't vote for a president. That's in the law. Yes, you can get a popular vote, but the politicians are the only ones through the electoral college that get the vote. Not the citizens, the politicians. And the politicians, I ain't even gonna say, I'm gonna keep it like it is. So I'm about to go through a whole bunch of stuff. But the politicians aren't like me and you folks. The government, the federal government isn't with the state. It's a whole different thing, folks. Time to wake up. And it's probably, matter of fact, it's too late to wake up. This is stuff your parents should have been teaching you. This is stuff your grandmama should have been teaching you. And the problem is, I don't mean to try to beat up on the elders. But look, folks, all they got to teach us is religion and politics, which they know nothing about either. Especially, they don't know nothing. They will sit up there and watch CNBC. They'll sit up there and watch CNN and Fox and all these things and listen to these people and don't know what the hell they are talking about or trying to tell them. They don't. They don't. Because they know the people who's watching them don't know anything about the history of this country. They don't know anything about politics. They don't. But they will sit up there and fight with you about politics. You got people who claim they can vote, but they don't even know nothing about the law. They don't know nothing about the land, the law of the land, the law of the seas. They don't know anything. It's about how many different laws is it, folks? Tens of thousands, and you're out there voting. What do you vote for? You don't even know a quarter of these laws. You think you got to say so in some of this stuff? You don't. These guys, if you really had a vote in something, you would be able to vote on what these people do during their term. You don't. All you do is have a vote, which is a popular vote, not even a vote that gets a president in office. You have a popular vote. That's it. And then these guys get in there for 4 years and turn it into whack jobs and do what they want to do. I'm just saying, folks, are you ready if these tariffs come today to pay $10 for a loaf of bread? Don't worry. The immigrants always make it. And the illegal immigrants always make it because they're not at a big need for a lot of these things that, basically foundational Americans have been bred and top to one. That ain't how they roll. They're real efficient. They don't need all these things like that, folks. They're real efficient. They'll come over here and live like, 5 to a house. We trying to say, oh, we just need 2 a house, two to a house. We don't need each other. That ain't what they do. They'll put 2-3 families in a house or 2 families in an apartment until they save up like $10,000 in their pocket. And then they start their life, whatever like that. The what's to come is really on the foundational Americans, really. Because our needs and wants are bigger than people's coming from third world countries where they're real efficient. They don't need all that stuff that we need. They can get a used car, a used car. They can go get an old beat up home and fix it up themselves. They don't need to spend all that money. That's the problem with Americans. We support a lot of dumb stuff that we shouldn't support. We shouldn't. We in this economy, we shouldn't support buying a new car and a brand new house. And like I said, this guy, and when we look at this car tariff war, check this out. What does it even matter? All these countries, whether it's Canada, the U.S., the little car manufacturing we do have here, guess who's there? It's not Americans. Most of those factories have illegal immigrants in them. This is a problem with America. These presidents let all these big companies, like the car companies, shut down all their plants because they were unions. Just like most of the unions in the United States, the government let these guys shut down and either move their companies overseas, or the ones that they kept here, not just car companies, manufacturing anything. Either they drove their businesses overseas so they don't have to pay the tax and they can slave wage somebody else in another country, or they stayed here, got rid of the Americans, and brought in all these illegal immigrants or low-paying, I don't know what you would call them, maybe some immigrants, and that's it. They don't want nobody making no money no more, folks. This whole thing about making any money anymore is about over. We're going to see this with AI. They're trying to, it's trying to do it through, it's trying to go through the federal government first. So a lot of companies see, well, the federal government did it and they don't need people in the office because AI can do the office work. Now, the other companies who aren't with the federal government, they're going to say, we're going to do it too. We don't need these office people. Next, as you can see, who's doing all the blue collar jobs? Well, the immigrants and illegal immigrants. Why? Because the companies don't want to hear nothing about, fair pay and, I need this, I need that. They don't want to hear about the American way, folks. The American way of the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, it's over. But you still got dummies thinking some president is going to come in and bring back that American way. It's over. The American way only lasted the way it did until these companies were able to establish themselves and make all the money they made. Once they were able to make all the money and be these big companies, they didn't need Americans no more. It ain't no more American way. It's over. The American way is what I told you. And a lot of it, everything is gonna be third party outsourced. Even the county, even the city jobs, everything. We already see it with the majority of the blue collar jobs. It's gonna be third party and outsourced to third parties, to legal immigrants and immigrants that just got here. That's it, folks. Everything else is fake. All they're trying to do is make you feel good for what they're doing, and what they're doing is screwing you. That's it. And they're changing the people, and it's nothing new. They done changed the people throughout history for a long time. That's why they can tell you this fake history about the country, about the world. That's about it. So what I'm trying to say is, all you can do is get yours. The American way is over. A lot of people got rich off the, what was going on in the 2000s, the 90s, the computer age, all this stuff. But as far as, what the United States used to, that's over, folks. There's no more, there's basically no borders. This is in Canada, this is in Australia, this is in Europe. The immigration problem is basically out of control, and it's never going to stop. All this fake securing the border, all that's over, folks. They're telling you a bunch of nonsense. You can go wherever you want to go. Who cooks your food at restaurants? A whole bunch of illegal immigrants. Who do the road work? Illegal immigrants. Who's driving doing all the trucking job? Mostly just first generation or immigrants. Period. That just got here. Who's doing the manufacture? Immigrants or illegal immigrants? What jobs do foundational Americans really have? Not much. It's more illegal, to me, that's what I see. I see more illegal immigrants or immigrants that just got here and got some kind of asylum or citizenship. It's more them working, to me, than Americans. What are Americans doing, really? White collar paperwork jobs? And I'm trying to tell you, they're trying to get rid of that with AI, for the most part, with the real big companies, at least. So that's all I'm trying to say, folks. It's not... You're just gonna have to wake up. It is what it is. I don't know if the tariff's gonna go through. Is this dude just bluffing or whatever? We'll see tonight. But I'm just trying to tell you, if you don't know history, you don't even know what these people are saying. You don't know why they're doing it and what's gonna happen in the future. This thing ain't black and white. It ain't black and white. It's the same issue that's been going on forever in this country and in the world. So, tell me what you think.